Hello, Dr. White, and welcome to the introduction video to help us think of the big value sheet that you assigned for us to look through. The 4 values that I valued the most were religion, family, truth, and honor. There's a lot of good choices to choose from, so it's hard to just narrow down a list of 4, but I figured a lot of the other ones, if you don't value the truth, then you can't be honest, and if you don't have honor, then you don't have integrity. So it's kind of hard to just choose 4, but those are the 4 I chose. And now let's review those 2 podcasts, and I'll share my thoughts on them. So both podcasts I thought were very good. In the Bit of Optimism podcast, they're definitely more optimistic about the future, which is fun. But they weren't just only being optimistic and ignoring anything negative. Mentioned some facts about Gen Z which I tend to agree with. Gen Z is pretty flexible, and that we like freedom, and we are pretty creative and risk takers, but we're also conflict avoidant. So that's why Gen Z is often willing to quit a job without having another job lined up, just because we're too afraid to ask for a raise and we didn't want to have a conflict with the boss. And listed some of the reasons why I think that might be is because 1, we're just too afraid to ask for the boss for a raise, and 2 is because Gen Z often has a lot of side gigs and side hustles, and with modern resources online, it's a lot easier to look for jobs these days. So that's why Gen Z often thinks we can leave a job safely, because they either have their own side hustles they can do, or they can get another job very quickly. Also mentioned with those online resources like Glassdoor, that can be a bit of a double-edged sword, and I tend to agree. It's good to know what the average price, or average salary is in your area, but it can also be a bit of a double-edged sword because you're comparing yourself to other people, potentially even in other companies, and it might be a different situation. That other person might be more qualified, or the other boss just might not know what they're doing. So we can't always compare everyone completely evenly. It's hard to make a good, accurate comparison sometimes. In the Gen Z podcast, I mentioned that Gen Z is very flexible, but also likes stability. And if they don't know they have stability in a job, they're a lot more likely to leave. So that's why I mentioned it's important, and I tend to agree with this, is to show that your employees that they're valued and that they have a chance to have growth in your company. Meaning they have a chance for raises and a chance for promotion if they do a good job. And so that's stuff they mentioned I completely agree with. Also mentioned something which I also agree with, that Gen Z can sniff out inauthenticity from a mile away, and so that's why it's important for employers to be authentic and tell the truth, which is why telling the truth is so important. Because if an employee sees that perhaps in a job application that the company said that they value creativity and innovation, but then do everything to stifle that employee's creativity and innovation once they're on the job, then it shows like the company wasn't telling the truth. And Gen Z especially doesn't like that and will leave, and rightfully so. So just with my 4 values in mind, these thoughts on Gen Z in the podcast, I think those are good values to have. Value family, value relationships, which Gen Z often has struggles to find because of the way things are online these days. And I hope to use those values to help with Gen Z and to help in my personal spiritual walk with the Lord.